Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. It's my absolute honor and pleasure to welcome you all in today's lecture. Well, I would have loved to conduct or to deliver this lecture in person, face-to-face, live, and would have a great discussion and debate with all of you. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19 pandemic crisis, everything has been virtual, and we have been maintaining social distancing. So I'm very thankful to recent technology that is filling the gap. Dear students, today we will talk about today our discussion is on bureaucracy. I'm going to describe about bureaucracy, the characteristics of bureaucracy, and will explain bureaucracy as the epitome of rationality, of a rational way of looking at the world and seeing the world. Now, rationality stands in opposition to traditions. Further, we define the definition of bureaucracy. It is an organizational model rationally designed to perform tasks efficiently. The German sociologist Max Weber argued that bureaucracy constitutes the most efficient and rational way in which human activity can be organized, and that systematic processes and organized hierarchies are necessary to maintain order, maximize efficiency, and eliminate puritanism. A rationality, as defined, as calculated, practical thinking way to look at the world that is designed to accomplish tasks most efficiently. It was a process in the evolution of human societies, getting from traditional way of thinking to a more rational way of looking at the world. It was by no means a fast transition or a natural transition that had to happen, and Weber theorized this transition as the rationalization of society, which is the replacement of traditional ways of thinking with rational ways of thinking. These rational ways of thinking, according to Gurdon, as modernity, or in the views of other sociologists, some of them claim it positivism, while others claim it is science, and Weber claims that is rationality. So let's turn to describe the 6 characteristics of bureaucracy that Max Weber identified. The first of which is specialization. It assigns individual highly specialized. Industrial capitalism increased the division of labor, such as we now each perform specialized task. We don't try to do everything ourselves. The division of labor spread out all of the tasks among all members of society. And as the more specialized the tasks become, ideally the more efficient you can become, because not everybody has to switch between tasks and to things like that. So this is the hallmark of bureaucracy and specialization. Difference in activities are recognized and specific duties are assigned to any individual, depending on his training or expertise. Therefore, these specialized tasks are carried out by personnel who have full knowledge of the special problem involved. However, the only demerit of such specialization of work is that these bureaucrats are unable to handle any task outside the scope of their particular work. The second feature of bureaucracy. Secondly, bureaucrats are hierarchically organized from high to low. Let's suppose I have a boss and my boss has a boss and they have a boss, and on and on and on. You can see there is this high change of command here. Bureaucracies are organized that way to ensure good communication. Think about if you could just run around, like I can't run around and go talk to the high and go talk to the higher boss, the highest boss all the time, every time I want. Think about a large organization. Everybody could run around and try to talk. Let's suppose Bill Gates. If everybody could run around and try to talk to Bill Gates all the time, the organization can't function that well, that efficiently in that way. So we have a nested set of hierarchical offices in the bureaucracies. What is hierarchy? Hierarchy is the basic structure of bureaucracy. It comprises of different levels. Each lower unit is under the control and supervision of higher one. Since each level has its respective responsibilities and authorities clearly split out, each individual in the organization knows his place. Furthermore, rules regulations. The formal rules. Bureaucracy has rules and regulations. And very importantly, they have rules and regulation in order to operate efficiently. You can't leave anything to chance. You want to try to control as much as you possibly can. There are many rules that govern the conduct of people and bureaucracies. And then those who wish to engage in the bureau for something. So think about the time, let's suppose you go to the bank. You have to stand in the line, or you have to stand in this line, and then you have to walk up to this counter or that counter, and sometimes they even take a number to try to ensure a power flow of people. Everything is control and rule bound. I dare you to just try and walk up to the counter without obeying all of these rules. You might incite a riot. People are going to be like, wow, what is this offender doing? What is that person doing? He is not following the rules. The thing could not function without rules. All the activities of the bureaucracies are carried out according to general rules, which are applied impartially by the bureaucrats in particular cases. These are set of direction for every level and are framed for the use of person working at that particular level. These rules might be known as SOPs, standard operating procedures, and are printed in procedural manuals. They help in saving a considerable amount of time while making necessary decisions. However, some problems regarding the use of prescribed rules are bound to rise. For instance, an excessive specialization of tasks makes it impossible for the bureaucrat to take a holistic view of issues. Moreover, bureaucracy comes in the way of a democratic approach to the handling of matters. The personnel at the lower level have to abide by the order given by those at the higher level without being able to question them. Further, staff in the lower rings of the hierarchy might not be able to make the executives at the top realize their problems. Technical competence. Fourth, we have the idea of technical competence. The bureaucracy is filled with offices, and there are rules to determine who can fill that office. We don't know each other so well. The bureaucracy is impersonal. People within it don't know each other so well, and you certainly don't know people wanting to come in work in the office. So you have to hire somebody with laid out established qualification. So this idea of the regime where you lay out your qualification and then after you hire somebody, your performance has to be monitored according to predetermined laid out standards. So this is the idea of technical competence through otherwise tied hierarchy of an organization and enable the workers and the managers to come on an equal footing as well as respond to customer demands. Another feature of bureaucracy is impersonality. It is the fifth characteristic of bureaucracy. So it doesn't matter who you are. who you know, or what you want, or how you might think you are special. Rules come before all else. And in the eye of bureaucracy, everyone is treated in the same uniform fashion. The bureaus don't care if you are having a bad day, or if you can't afford to make your payment, or if you don't have the time to wait in line and slide through the whole process. You are going to do at just the same as everyone else. You are not special. You are not different. So this is just the idea of impersonality. It is in its ideal form, bureaucracy is impersonal and rational and based on rules rather than ties of kinship, friendship, or patrimonial or charismatic authority. Bureaucratic organization can be found in both public and private institutions. Another feature of bureaucracy is formal written communication. And finally, we have a formal we have a premium on formal written communication. So rather than face-to-face communication, casually the bureaucracy depends on memos, paperwork, and now email and digital storage. Basically, any form of written communication. So when my boss wants to set up a meeting, I get an email rather than a question from, say, 10 feet away or 2 cubicle away. Now I know I get an email and then everything is documented. We are going to have meeting at this time, this place. Do you accept? Well, we could have just had this face-to-face conversation, but no, it's done through email. It is important because Weber saw this bureaucratic form as taking over society and transforming it in its image, and he called this the process of bureaucratization, where all social life would come to be organized like the bureaucracy. Government certainly is a bureaucracy. The education system is a bureaucracy. The military, all of these things are bureaucracy because life is going to be more complex. Life is going to be more specialized. So there is a need of institutions, and that institution will be in hierarchical form. There will be division of labor. There will be command of authority. There will be written communication. So every kind of institution as will be established, will be informed to cope with all of the challenges in the modern world. Dear students, it's all about today's lecture. We discussed about bureaucracy, um, its characteristics, and the contribution of Max Weber in the introduction of bureaucracy. If you have any question, if you have any confusion or query, you can ask your question in comments, or you can contact in your WhatsApp group. Thank you so much for today. Inshallah, see you next time.